Oh my goodness, it's Oliver's Papa. Oliver's Papa, where have you been? Well, the majority of my summer was spent, of course, taking care of Oliver. And I have to say, we had a rough summer. We had a really rough summer. Autism kicked my ass. It kicked my ass. It was rough, and if it was rough on me, then you know it was rough on Oliver. And we had a lot of issues, trying to figure out meds and these emerging behaviors, which seem to be very common in typical 6-year-olds. One of the things is like an anti-authoritarian type of position that they take, and that's normal. But with Oliver, it was just everything was just through the roof. It was a very difficult summer. Now that school is back, Oliver is got some of his confidence back, and he is back, in school where I believe I know he works hard. We went to teacher's night, and everybody knew him. They were like, all the kids like, there's Oliver, telling their parents, that's Oliver, and he walks through there pretty confident, and I don't know, he's a good kid, and he works hard, and I was humbled this summer. I was humbled. I had to spend many nights, between trying to get him back calmed down to go back to sleep. Spent many nights evaluating just what kind of father I was, and I wasn't the father that I thought I was, and the typical emotions that you run through when you feel like you're failing your children. I just have Oliver, so I shouldn't say children, but I know other dads express the kind of things that I was going through. But that's what I've been busy doing, and I've been building that coffee trailer, which I'll show you a tour of. But the reason for this video tonight is to address this drama that is unfolding in the Special Forces community. That's become kind of my guilty pleasure, is watching these guys, their interviews, these retired, Green Berets, Delta Force guys, and it's a sign of the times. Everybody's talking. There's really no difference, though, than what they're doing than what, when they're interviewing the greatest generation, and these guys that were in World War II. One day we'll look back on these videos, or the generation after us, and they're going to see the interviews with these Green Berets and these guys open up their hearts and their minds about what they experienced, and it's valuable stuff. And it's not usually my thing. I was never in the military. I took the ASVAB twice and got very good scored very high both times. I didn't pull the trigger and go in. It was too hard. It was too hard. I was on a different path and whatever. It's one of the few things that I regret not doing. I would have liked to have gone in for 4 years at least, and been able to say that I had served in some capacity. Okay. Now, there is a group of people, mainly, let's just stick with the one guy. American Thor, Valhalla, I think is his handle. He's a, ex-Special Forces guy that works out, has videos of him working out. He is, he's a bit of a shit stirrer. He likes to call out these, these fake alpha males that are, on every damn platform, and he likes to call them out, and sometimes it's funny. He's not really a very funny guy, in my opinion. But one of my favorite people to listen to, someone I just stumbled upon, is a guy from the south side of Chicago named John McPhee. His highest rank was Sergeant Major. He was in both Afghanistan and Iraq. Battle of Tora Bora. Apparently did many singleton missions. I think they said he was the first, if not the only person to do a single man mission in Afghanistan. Pretty impressive career. They send those guys out there to locate somebody that they want to hit, or locate somebody that they want to grab, because they want to question them, because they think they might have the skinny on plans to kill American soldiers and that kind of thing. This guy probably saved dozens of lives. He's probably taken 10 times that in taking life. He's a bit of his interviews a bit cocky, a bit funny, typical Southsider, really. If you know the South Side of Chicago, the guy's a South Sider. You throw a White Sox cap on, and he could be sitting at the bar with you. Pretty ordinary guy, down to earth guy. Not a whole lot of flash, not a whole lot of bullshit. Just and his interviews are infectious in that he's not there with tears in his eyes. He's not crying, and not that there's anything wrong with that. The men that are doing that, we're not to fucking judge the things that they've seen and how it's affected them, but it appeared, to me to be that this guy, a bit of a psychopath, kind of loved the thrill of it. That he probably, the adrenaline rush maybe was part of it. But the bottom line is he served his fucking country and had to do some pretty hard, dirty, wet work. Okay. He's doing the circuit like a lot of these guys. They want to make a few extra bucks. There's people, they see they're guys who are in the same profession on TV giving, YouTube videos or instructing videos on how to shoot and all these different things. And so they say, hey, let me jump in and see if I can get a piece of this action. And that's completely normal. Why the hell not? Why shouldn't he? Well, turns out, and by the way, you can see John McPhee, also known as the Sheriff of Baghdad. I guess one of his nicknames when he was serving was Shrek. Big Irishman. Big fucking Irishman. It's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe. But you could see, look up Sheriff of Baghdad, you'll see his tactical videos, and or he's teaching people how to, shoot responsibly or shoot better, and there goes over their technique. He's got all kinds of stuff going on out there, and very entertaining guy, really. I mean, dark, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Anyway, for some reason, this other fucking guy, the Valhalla, the American Thor, another guy with one of these weird homoerotic Viking fantasies, is he exposed him. Turns out John was kicked out of Special Forces, lost his Special Forces tab, lost clearance, and was demoted. So he wasn't a sergeant major when he was kicked out. They demoted him down to E something. I don't know. I didn't go back and watch the video the second time. It was a waste of time the first time. But he exposed him for his horrific crimes, his abhorrent behavior while going through a divorce or some sort of breakup. There's pages of testimony from a woman who said that he threw her to the ground when she was pregnant and held a gun to her head, and he was violent and drunk and I don't know, acting like a fucking psychopath. You want a guy to do psychopathic shit, and then you get mad at him when he becomes a psychopath. I'll never fucking understand that. So it was a messy divorce. And any of you guys, you never had to, you don't have to have pointed a gun at a woman or pushed her down or gotten physical with her to understand how a turbulent divorce can these prisons and graveyards are full of guys that had turbulent divorces. That's what he had. The complaints against him were enough for the military to say, okay, you're out. Somebody mentioned mistreatment of detainees. Oh, you mean the fucking savages that, that were placing roadside bombs places, or the motherfuckers that were cutting heads off, or rolling over people with tanks, setting them on fire, throwing fucking people off buildings? Those fucking dudes? Now, I know there's rules of war and torture is illegal, or Geneva Convention. I fucking know. Point is, he went off the deep end. Sounds to me like the dude went off the deep end. Maybe drinking too much, marriage is falling apart, he's carrying all this weight, whether he has a different take on it now apparently, but maybe all that shit was just too much at one fucking point, and one too many people got under his fucking skin and he snapped. It sounds to me like maybe some counseling would have been in fucking order, or try to get him some help, right? He might not have been able to stay in the special forces, but he may have been able to, retire with his rank. I don't know. But this fucking Viking, Valhalla, what the fuck ever his name is, I'm exposing him. And I've got a dossier with 100 or more pages of just terrible things he's done. What is this guy, the fucking den mother of special forces? Is that what he is? Is that what he is? Is he the fucking cardinal? This guy had slept. He slept with another an officer's wife, or who gives a fuck? Of course he did. Have you ever seen the guy's interviews? Of course he fucking did. If he had the opportunity to, he did. Did he fuck her? Yeah, he did. He fucked her. Okay, enough. But I mean, again, that's how you treat your brothers in arms? You fucking rat them out? Because what? Because you're jealous because he's got more views, or people like him more? People like him. He's got a zest for life. He's happy. So what? What's the fucking problem? Why did you feel the need to expose him? You didn't expose him. What you did was you did a hit piece on him. Okay? The fact of the matter is he didn't steal valor. The fact of the matter is he was a sergeant major. The fact of the matter is you can't change the numbers of fucking missions that he went on. And we could just go by the ones that could be that are documented, that people know about. That's not too hard to fucking find out, right? So you painted this picture of him like he lied about everything. When Sean Ryan asked him why he left the Special Forces, he didn't lie. John didn't lie. You know what he said? Messy divorce. And that's what the fuck happened. So it burns my ass. I don't like tattletales. I don't like gossips. And I don't like when somebody has overcome something. Clearly this man's overcome something. He doesn't owe us an explanation. But clearly he overcame a period in his life that cost him a lot. You don't see him crying. You don't see him pointing fingers and doing exposés on people. You don't see him doing that. You know what he's doing? Fucking hiking, lifting weights, training, working on his jiu-jitsu, doing the podcasts, driving around the country teaching people, American people, how to handle guns more responsibly, what weapons are effective, how to go down to a minimalist approach instead of carrying all this fucking stupid gear around all the time, looking like you're going to invade Poland. He's out there doing a service, and people like it, and they're buying it. I think that all of this is sour grapes on these other dudes' behalf. They're just sour grapes. They're jealous. They're jealous. And I think at the end of the day, you don't have to like John. You could sit there and take sit in your ivory tower and look down on him because he got physical with a woman. Of course it's horrible. But men like us don't do this. We live by a code. Oh, fuck off. You don't know what the fuck happened. You don't know what the dude was going through. Maybe he needed to be, in some counseling. Maybe he needed some help that he wasn't getting. Who the fuck knows? I'm sure you'll tell us, but you're not going to tell us if there's, not an excuse, but a reasonable explanation for what happened with this dude. But I'll tell you what, he's not doing that today. The other day he was in the jiu-jitsu, the world championship. They have the different heats, different belt level, belts and weight classes. But they got all the mats going at the same time. He was in that, and he's got a positive attitude. He hasn't said one thing about these dudes. He knew they were coming. He had to have. We're not talking about a stupid fucking guy here. At the very least, he's a very clever man. And you know damn well he knew this was coming. Has he said anything? Nope. Has he attacked this other guy? Nope. Has he come on and made some tearful excuse that I need to do better? No. Because he doesn't owe anybody an explanation. His work saved U.S. lives. Bottom fucking line. And so did, this Valhalla asshole. He probably did too. You know what I mean? And I knew you guys would be like, call him an asshole to his face. Why would I do that? To break me in half or turn me into a pretzel? Of course I wouldn't do that. But fuck him anyway. Because this was unnecessary. You went out of your way to sabotage what John was doing. It didn't work. You look like a big baby. People are making fun of you. You made a video. The backlash is about what we expected after we did our expose on John McPhee. He didn't steal any fucking valor either. You better be careful what you're doing. What you might be bordering on is slander. You better be careful, fuckhead. Anyway, hats off to John McPhee. Southside Johnny is what I'm going to start calling him. Makes good, gets out of the city, the south side of the city, gets out of there, goes on, has a storied military career. They can't take that away from him. They fucking can't take that away from him. They can take his rank, they can take his pension, they can do whatever the fuck. They can't take away what this man has accomplished and what he's known for, and why a lot of people are willing to say, okay, he did some horrible shit there, something happened to him, but you know what? There's value in what he's saying and what he's teaching us. He doesn't have to go up there and expose people. He just has to go up there and be himself. That's all he's got to do. All he has to do is get out there and be Southside Johnny. And it's amazing how that works out. The only I don't know, but the Viking Valhalla, American Thor, what the fuck ever, and his other stooge friends that sit there and act like they've uncovered some kind of smoking gun or something. No, you can twist it, frame it the way you want to. Bottom line is, when it comes down to the Special Forces game, I think you guys were a little jealous. A little jealous at Southside Johnny's accomplishments. That's my little piece, my little bit of support for John McPhee, a fellow Chicagoan who doesn't deserve to be exposed. Certainly not by men that were in the same sorts of work that he was doing. Maybe show the man a little bit more fucking respect than that. He'll be all right. He doesn't need us to protect him or stand up for him, but I bet it does feel good because he is a human being, and he's probably, he knew some dickhead was going to come out and say these things, tell the truth about him. The truth is, he has nothing to be ashamed of, and the best revenge in the world is a life well lived, and he's out there living his best life, eating filet mignon with eggs and avocado, getting all that protein, walking miles, running miles, doing his jiu-jitsu, going to the range, setting up targets, living his best life, getting in fucking health, getting in shape with the stem cells and everything else. Dude's out there riding fucking high. He's like Icarus, fucking rising from the ashes, while these other clowns are out there. Nah, that's not how Chicagoans do shit. It's not. Anyway, Oliver's Papa here. Just wanted to get that off my chest. God bless you all. I hope your families are healthy and happy. I hope that as we come into the fall, I hope that things look up for us all, and that life doesn't give us too many kicks in the nuts, and we just go off into the future. And I wish all of you a great fortune. God bless. We'll see you later.